Good morning. Hello. I believe I saw that Cam is in the chat. I will take another look because I can. Hello, Annie made it. We hired Dragon and wow, that's a long name. Hello, Raincoats. Good to see you, Artbreaker. Good to see you. I actually made it on time, Yippee. I'm so glad that you're here. And yes, Cam is also in the stream. So let me go ahead and switch screens. We're going to mix this up a little bit. I was thinking about getting some music started in the background. But maybe we can just stream without the background music and just talk about Art Fight for a little bit here, since it is Art Fight season, and I did want to discuss a new topic that we haven't really covered. I actually haven't seen any coverage of this in the past, even though I know that each year they put out these budget transparency posts to let us know how donations are being used, which I think is really nice of them to do. I think it is valid and valuable to share that transparency with your donors. We're going to go over this because I think a lot of people would be very, very shocked to know just how expensive Art Fight truly is. Before I do that, though, I'm going to actually move this screen down here where I can see chat. There we go. That will help me so I can respond to your guys' feedback and we can all have a total conversation about this. Hello, Junie. It's good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Rain, hi. I'm glad you're able to make it. So, first of all, for new players and returning players alike, Art Fight has historically always been free to play, and it is still free to play even this year as well, and hopefully it will always remain free to play. Cam says just got another character up on Art Fight. That's fantastic. I actually need to do a little bit of updating to my character references as well. I have a couple new characters from my web comic that I did for the contest that I want to add to Art Fight as well. So you guys will probably see those pop up in your notifications if you follow me on Art Fight. They'll be coming soon, so hopefully you guys will see them there. One of the craziest things about Art Fight, because of its absolute size and scale, and I talked about this last time we talked about Art Fight on stream, which I think was honestly in the last stream, the marketing stream, even though it was geared toward Webtoon. We were talking about marketing through Art Fight. How many players are on Art Fight? And last year, here it is. Art Fight currently has, as of 2024, the Seafoam Stardust Art Fight year. And I don't know if I can make this bigger for you guys so you can see it better. Hopefully that's much clearer now. Over 1 million registered users. That is a whole lot of users. Over 1 million registered users. And if you think about it, not only does Art Fight, the host website, have to provide unique profiles for each of these 1 million registered users, it's also got to be able to host the photos, the images of each of their characters. It's got to host the images of every attack, every friendly fire, all of that, even animations. Sometimes you upload an animation for your Art Fight attacks. And as an example of that, I can hop right in here to Art Fight and show you animated attacks that I've done. Just for an example, I think we go to page 2 maybe. Oh wow, my internet's moving so slowly right now. That's new. I don't usually have this much trouble loading my my websites. I wonder what's going on. Hopefully the stream is not lagging. We hired Dragon says AI stealing work. Scraping, what is that? You have a new receipt that won't go up if you can't use PDF. Scraping is out of control. Okay, so I think that that's a really good point to bring up. It's something that I have been thinking about lately too, with the increased concerns for AI scraping and data mining. And the great thing about Art Fight is you actually cannot even look at somebody's profile without creating an account. You have to log in to even look at anything on this website. You can't look at my profile, you can't look at my characters, you can't look at my attacks unless you create an account and log in. So it's going to be a lot harder for AI to scrape images they can't look at. So I think in that regard, Artfight is probably one of the safest places currently that you can put your images, as far as my understanding goes. Now, I'm not a tech bro. I don't have like the super technical knowledge on how this works, but as far as I understand it, they're not able to scrape your images because they can't access them. They can't see your images to scrape it. All right, so for example, here we go. Here's an animated attack that I did. It's just a GIF. It's a very simple animation. I just animated the like digital panel so that the character, the fridge Sona, has expressions. But this is a bigger file than just a regular PNG or JPEG. You know, we've got a GIF now, so they have to host millions of like 1 million users are uploading photos, are uploading images. By and large, I don't even know how many art attacks are there. I wonder if we could figure that out. How many Artfight attacks are there? According to Google AI, we don't get an answer. All right, well, that's not helpful, but let's just move on anyway, because that's not what we're really trying to talk about today. It doesn't seem like me, says Pocolatte. That's good to know. I'm glad to hear it. Juneberry says, Junieberry, oh no, I think you might be able to use Nightshade or another AI poisoning program. Yeah, I think if you wanted to do the extra legwork up front, like run your own images through Nightshade or any program of choice prior to uploading them, you can do that. That way, even if the AI finds a way to impersonate a user and log in just to view your pictures, which I think they're a little far off from doing that. I don't think that they're there yet. I think they have enough resources available through unlocked websites that they're not like cracking down doors at Artfight to try to get in and steal our pictures. I think that they can go to DeviantArt, or they can go to Pinterest, or they can go wherever they go. That's like, you can just see it, right? Like, you don't need all these extra security measures, which Artfight has. So I do think, I stand by my earlier statement where Artfight is probably one of the more secure places to share your artwork. June Berry says the Artfight is super protective with its artists. It really is. They really, really stand on business when it comes to respecting the artist. It's not that I don't trust art faces we hire monkeys, more that I have literally spent like 3 months on getting Secura to publishable quality for the print story. They've scraped Artgram before, and that's anti-AI. But is Artgram invisible to non-users? Because Artfight is. So if I log out of our, we'll come back to, we'll circle back to this, okay? We'll come back to that after we get through some of this stuff, because I don't want to log out and then have to log back in and show you guys me logging in with my password on stream, because I don't know that that would maybe be the most secure thing I could be doing right now. So let's talk about this latest news bulletin though, real quick, because I do want to address the topic in the thumbnail and title of this video. And we're going to look at how expensive it really is to provide Artfight to us, the global artist community, because Artfight truly is global. It's got over 1 million users. I can't even imagine how many millions of images this site is hosting and how expensive that is. So let's take a look at, first and foremost, in 2024, Artfight received approximately 142,000 in contributions and about 68,000 for merchandise sales. Those are purchases made by players. They're by no means obligations. Nobody is obligated to pay for anything on Artfight. You can donate. There are certain perks that come with donating, and we'll go over that in this video. And you can buy merchandise, and and obviously you're receiving a physical item for your purchase, and that physical item, then obviously the production of that item is going to come out of the cost first before it benefits this pie chart down here. Artbreaker says attacks have numbers in the link, so if you can find the latest attack of the year, then that should tell you how many attacks there are on the website. But off season, I don't know if there's a way to view that. That's a great question. Let's take a look. let's go to ArtFight. Actually, it's going to take me to my page. Let's go to the home page. Recent characters. Oh no, I thought there was like maybe going to be a recent attack section too, because the last attack of last year would have been there. Browse attacks, but they're probably going to be random. I'm pretty sure they just randomize these. I don't think it's going to just show me the latest one. Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's go ahead. Let's just look at this one. Let's see. We are looking at 8,684,211, this attack. And we don't even know if this is the most recent one. So we're already over 8 million. Isn't that crazy? 8,684,211. That's the number of attack this one was. So we are already in the almost of tens of millions, if not already past that number, depending on how many more came after that one we just looked at. Cam says that is the most recent. Well, there we go. We have our answer. 8 million. 8 million plus. That's a lot of images. That is an expensive server cost, and that is why that is the biggest piece of the pie here when it comes to budget. They have to pay this every year. Every year they have to come up with that money to host these servers. And all of that money is coming through donations. And thankfully, with 1 million potential users, not everybody plays every year. So even though there's 1 million users, it doesn't mean they're always active. Activity comes and goes. People sometimes skip years. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they do 1 year and never come back. And then some people are like me and they come back every single year. But keep that in mind. So we have 1 million users. We're hosting all of their images, whether they're inactive or not. And that's got to be paid for. So the server cost in 2024 was $91,300. So almost $100,000 to pay to host these servers. And as each year passes, I imagine that number is going to get bigger because there's going to be more and more and more added every single year. Taxes, obviously you're going to have to pay taxes because the world runs on, it's inescapable. No matter what it is, whether it's taxes coming out of your paycheck, taxes for your purchases, taxes on property. Like even if you've already paid taxes for your car, you will still pay property tax every year. I used to get a bill in the mail for my car in Virginia where I would have to pay the state of Virginia for the fact that I owned a car. Even though it was completely paid for, I paid taxes when I bought it and I paid off the loan, the car loan, and I owned the car outright. I just was paying my insurance on it because, of course, you also have to have insurance. I was paying my insurance on it, but I also had to pay taxes no matter what. For as long as I owned that car, I owed taxes on it. So, yeah, you're still going to pay property tax. Same thing with owning any housing, any kind of housing property. You're going to pay property tax on that no matter what. So even if you pay it off till you get in a house in your 20s, you pay it off by the time you're 50. Because a 30-year mortgage, right? So by the time you're 50, you bought a house young in your 20s. You're 50 years old now. You've paid it off. But you're still going to pay property taxes for the rest of retirement. You're retired, and you still owe money for until you die or until the state takes the property away from you. So that's how life works. There's always going to be taxes. It doesn't always make sense. It doesn't always seem fair. But that is how government operates. They have to get their piece of the pie. So in this situation, that piece of the pie accounts for 13% of the total budget for ArtFight, and that amounts to $16,000 just for 1 year. Remember, take all of this in the context of 1 year. Hey, J1K, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Always happy to see you here. Sub Sam Jam, hi. Cars are a scam, haha. I kind of would feel that way if it weren't for the fact that there are certain places where you really need private transportation in order to function as an adult in society. So unfortunately, not everywhere you live, you have the ability to take either public transit or be within walking distance. Your walking score might be really low in some really rural areas. So unfortunately, vehicles are a necessity in many cases, so I can't exactly call them a scam, but I would say that car insurance in general, if it worked the way it's supposed to work on paper, I would vouch for it. I truly would, because I believe insurance as a concept is a good thing. But I think the commercialization of it, the capitalism side of insurance, the fact that it's not considered, like universal healthcare makes total sense. You all pay into the pot, and then when you need to use it for your personal ailments, yeah, right, you got to go to the doctor, it's just paid for because you pay into it your whole life. Why would you not be allowed to pull out of it? But the problem is we allow corporations to tell us when we are and are not allowed to have our needs met by the money that we put into the pot. That to me is corruption. I think that that's cronyism. I think that if you're going to have a system for insurance where it is essentially a communism or socialism tool because everybody pays into the pot, it is shared money. That is what insurance is. It is shared money you all put into the pot. Then corporations should not be able to say no when you need to take money out of the pot for the prescribed need. So if it is for a medical need, you should be allowed to use it. But I'm totally getting off track here. That's just my personal opinion on insurance as a insurance by definition, like whether it's car insurance or if it's health insurance or if it's, I don't know, like what other kind of insurances are there? The point is, if everybody's pouring money into a pot that they don't even necessarily have a need for until they do, you should be allowed to use it when you do have that need. So I just think it's very cheap, it's very cruel, it's very wrong and corrupt to deny people access to the money that they paid in. And then, another example of this, Social Security, right? At least in America. I don't know how it works in the rest of the world. We spend our entire working lives, whether you started working at the age of 16, you started at 15, or if you waited till you were an 18-year-old adult and started working. You pay for Social Security your entire working life. It comes out of your paycheck. You never see that money. That money is automatically deducted from your paycheck before it is sent to your bank account. So you are paying for it. It is not some government given handout. It's not a handout. It is a service that we pay for our entire lives so that when we are old, we get the money back. You're basically putting it in a holding account. And now they're trying to tell us that they can say no and not give us the money back. Like if you've paid for that service from the age of, I'm going to say 15. I started working when I was 15. I was working at Wendy's after school and on weekends. So I was going to high school and also working a job at Wendy's and paying for Social Security as a 15-year-old child. And I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but let's just say you pay for that. You retire at what, 65? I think it's 65 now. That is retirement age. So 65 minus 15 is 50. My God, is it really? That can't be right. 50 years? Am I doing math wrong? Let's say 40, because I feel like I did that wrong. So let's say you pay for it for 40 years. And they're really not going to give you the money back that you've put in every single 2 weeks for 40 years. You pay for that. Like, SubJam says, totally agree. Artbreakers says my first job was Wendy's when I was 14. Yay, Wendy's bros! We have that Wendy's background. At least Adobe subscriptions aren't mandatory yet. Yeah, it's expensive, man. Subscriptions are expensive. That's a whole nother topic that I could jump on and complain about because we don't own anything anymore. Everything is rented. A subscription is a rental fee. You are renting something. Yeah. Anyway, taxes. That was taxes. All right, and so here we have advisory services and contractors. So in order for them to run a website, they're going to need to engage with certain experts in web development. They've had a lot of requests from the ArtFight community. They've had a lot of concerns from the ArtFight community about things like we already talked about, like AI and people being concerned about protecting their data and people being concerned about protecting their art. And so they've got to put aside money to pay experts in the field of web development. Ooh, gosh, I spelled by accident. Web development in order to make those features possible. So last year, $8,600 went into advisory services and contracts. And I know for a fact that some of these services were provided by volunteers, people who weren't even paid, in order to make what we wanted to happen, even if it wasn't in the budget. So we have a lot of, like I said in the title, or in the description box of this video, we have a lot of cause for gratitude when it comes to the Art Fight mods and the website host and all of this, because it is a really big ask that we're able to do this year after year for free. And then here we have recurring software and SaaS cost, cost of goods sold. And so this 2.6, I think that goes back up here to when they were talking about $68,000 were from merchandise sales. Cost of goods sold, like 2.6, so $3,200 of the budget went to the actual physical production and shipping cost of this merchandise. So if I know some of you guys in the chat right now ordered pins last year, you got the Stardust and Seafoam pins, right? That's part of this. That's the merchandise sales and the cost of goods sold. I got the Wormstun plushie, the Art Fight mascot plushie last year. And so that's also part of this merchandise sales and cost of goods sold. Business expenses, I'm not sure what that is, but it was a very, very small $100 out of the total expense budget. So it's like less than 1%. It's 0.1%. So it's almost less than 0.1%. It's like right there, you know. Cam says, I love the pins. Wish they sold them separately, though. Yeah, so you could just get the one team that you were on. That makes sense. Sub Sam Jam says, I still have my version of Clip Studio Paint 1.0 that I can always use, even if I stop paying for the sub for the latest version. I'm with you there. I also am paying for the sub currently because I want access to the asset library and everything. But I do technically have somewhere in my house an actual physical CD for an older version that I bought off of Amazon eons ago that I could technically pop back in and reinstall if I wanted to come off the subscription model. If you have stuff like that, like you have old versions of things that you own, physically own, never get rid of it, because we are moving as a society toward zero ownership rental for everything. And even with, I've said this before, with your movies that you buy on Amazon Prime, or if you're buying them on Netflix, you're renting them, or you rent them for $2, fine, okay, you rented it. But if you buy it for $20, you pay that $20 so that you can rewatch it whenever you want, because you know you're going to love that movie, or it's part of a series that you want to own. The minute that hosting site, that network, takes that movie out of their rotation, they decide not to keep it in their library anymore, you no longer own that movie, even though you paid for it. So that's why any media that you physically own is going to be worth gold. You're going to want to hold on to that. Even if it's just nostalgic, it's not worth actual money. You at least own it and you can enjoy it whenever you want and not at the mercy of Netflix or Hulu or whatever. Even like, oh my gosh, like what would be another one? Would this count for Steam? Like your Steam games? What if a game that you paid for comes off Steam and you can no longer boot it up? Like, I feel like that's probably also something that you got to think about. We Hire Dragon says, jokes on them, I have a VHS tape player. I wish I did. I do have an older version of the Xbox that can still play CDs. It's like DVDs. So I do have DVDs. All VHS tapes that I used to have, I think, are still at my mom's house. And all of my cassette player, like cassette tapes for music that I used to have, are in the trash because I moved from East Coast to West Coast. I moved across country, and I knew when I got to LA, I wasn't going to have a lot of space because LA is expensive and it's hard to have a lot of space. And so I threw away stuff that I was just like, I'm never going to use this. I'm never going to listen to this music again. I'm not going to have a tape deck that plays these tapes, and I got rid of it. And I regret that because it was a full duffel bag of cassettes and floppy disks. I kid you not. I don't know even where I would find a floppy disk player, but having a piece of history like that, like these old-timey media, it was just cool just to have, and I got rid of them, and I regret it. So learn from my mistake. Don't do that with your old media. Hold on to it for nostalgia's sake, for, just to have. because one day it'll all be gone. YouTube sells movies now, says Annie Made It. I got the whole DVD series of Hey Arnold, and I'm supposed to get the whole series. But are you allowed to download it? Because unless you can download it and keep it to your own like physical hard drive, I don't feel like it's permanent. It sounds risky to me. I mean, if it's the only option, then it's the only option. Like, we don't have a lot of choices. We kind of have to go with what they're doing. But, I mean, your YouTube account could get accidentally deleted. You could get blocked because of a copyright violation that you maybe didn't even do or something. I don't know. They might find like a comment, somebody reports your comment because they just don't agree with you and it gets you suspended. I don't know. Like, anything could happen that could cause you to lose access to your movie library. Annie Made It says no on DVD. Used to have the complete series on DVD. That's good. I have, yeah, like I said before, I am holding on to an older Xbox because it still has the CD reader, so I can still play movies. And I have like 2 drawers full of DVDs and Blu-rays. And I'm not throwing them away, even though it feels weird lugging them around every time I move, because it's free movies. And if ever I'm in a position where I can't afford to pay for Netflix, I can't afford, which might be now. Like, I don't have a job right now. I lost my job. I need to like tighten the belt, and I can't afford to have all these like 30 subscriptions. I can't do Netflix and Hulu and HBO Max and all of this stuff. Like, I can't do it all. So if I want to watch a movie, I got a drawer full of movies that I don't have to pay for. They're paid for. They're bought. Kai San, the artist, says I miss the early 2000s. Literally same. Life just seemed better back then. I don't know if it's like hindsight or rose-tinted goggles or whatever, but I do agree with you. Annie says those are my favorite shows. I'm glad I own them. Yeah, I have a couple of my favorites too. I'm so glad I own them. I hope that the discs aren't broken or scratched. I haven't opened them in a while. Maybe I'll like make it a point to go through them. I also this is another thing. Learn from us 2000s kids. Do not lend your stuff out to people who you have not like confirmed their trustability or something. Like, I used to give my friends my movies to borrow and they would never come back. I have so many empty movie cases in my drawer. Like my Harry Potter movies, and I know J.K. Rowling, gross, we hate, blah, 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 whatever. Like, there's conflict there, right? And I'm like, totally, I'm with you guys on like being outspoken against her current and like ever-growing chaotic whatever she's going through, like whatever she's doing. I'm not on board with it, but I did own the movies. I don't have them anymore because I lended them out and they never came back. Like, my friends just never brought them back. So just be careful when you have certain media that you know you can't replace. Be careful who you let borrow it. If they want to watch it, maybe just ask them to watch it with you at your house. Like, make a hangout date and have them come watch it at home with you so that you don't have to surrender that media to them that they may never bring back. Raincoat says, is anyone else stream lagging time or is it just me? I'm so sorry if it's lagging. I don't know what's going on. I hope that it's fixed. Maybe try the refresh key. Hopefully refreshing works. It works now. Okay, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Heartbreaker, watching DVDs doesn't give her the money anymore, at least. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So if I'm watching the DVDs that I already bought back in like, I don't know when. Like, when was that? Like 2004 or something? I don't know how old it is, to be honest. My brain is like not keeping up with that. But yeah, I agree. Like, I'm not boosting her wallet any by watching a video I already own. Reloading the page worked. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. J1K says, I had a similar case with people taking video games and never... Yeah, same thing with video games. That is so true. Video games were a big one. People would borrow your games and just never bring them back. It was always inconvenient. Like, oh, next time, man. Next time. I forgot. My bad. Like, next time. They would never come back. Books. I have so many of my books. Like, I have series of books that I bought, like the whole series, and I would lend out book 1 to people to try to get them hooked on the series so that they would go read it. I am missing book 1 in so many of my book series, my book collections. It's always the first book. The first book is always the one that's missing because I would lend it to somebody and it would never come back. But we're like way off topic now, so let's keep going. So if I scroll down here too, for stuff that I didn't really understand just by looking at the pie chart and reading these like percentiles, like business expenses, for example, they explain it a little better down here in the text. And that includes stuff like miscellaneous expenses such as licenses and Discord bot services. So that's really good to know. They break it down so well for us. And one of the big things that we really need to take into consideration is that all of this resets every single year. So this was how they used the budget in 2024, but the 2025 budget is probably, this is like a good baseline. It's a good way to predict what the next year is going to look like, what the next year is going to cost. But I would caution that the cost of the servers at the very least, and probably the taxes, because the taxes are probably based on a percentile of the server cost, this number is going to go up every year because there's going to just be more stuff on Artbyte that needs space. It needs space. Now, where are they getting money for 2025? Because that's a big question, right? Like, they get it from donors. And there are a couple of things that come, like, that you personally benefit from if you want to donate. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys or try to, like, sob story you into donating. That's not what I'm doing here. In fact, I've never even really discussed this at all in the 8 years that I've done Artbyte. I haven't been out here preaching donate, 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 like, never. And I think that it's one of the best, most beautiful things about Artbyte is that it's so community focused that they make sure that it stays free to play. And it should be, because it's all about gift art, right? And the point of gift is that it's giving, free giving, right? We Are Monkeys. Something happened around 2010. Politics in every media, loudness, wars, commercialization of everything. What did I miss? Oh, are we talking? Okay, so wait, what about arcade rolling? That's what you're talking about. I didn't pay attention to media. She became really wealthy off of her brilliant books, you know, like you do, which I didn't have a problem with. But then she joined the upper class, you know, the top wealthy billionaire class, and started having some really weird principles. She started having some really weird billionaire class style principles that very much go against the core of her books. So her books were all about, like, you know, treating people kindly with fairness, respecting the work, like the average Joes. Like, the whole point of Harry Potter was that he was completely an average, normal kid. He was not from, like, a super rich family. He was not, like, super athletic. He was not super anything, really. I mean, he was kind of super athletic when it comes to Quidditch, right? Like, he was good in that way. But he didn't, like, stand out, like, physically. He didn't look, like, crazy beautiful or otherwise. Like, he was meant to be your average Joe. It respects women, like the fact that Hermione is considered, like, the class genius, and we're not, like, subjugating her or making her less than because she's a girl. So there was a lot of very sort of modern opinions in the series. I think the deal with Harry Potter's wealth was just that it had built so much interest because it hadn't been spent over the course of his entire decades, or his decade and then some years of childhood, where his parents weren't spending the money. He wasn't spending the money. It was just sitting in a bank account accruing interest. His parents were not meant to be the super wealthy couple. They weren't like this wealthy power couple. They were, like, freedom fighters in the same organization as the other Voldemort class of people that were, like, you know, doing, like, the psyops and stuff. And then they obviously were also martyrs of that situation. But yeah, the point wasn't that he was rich. It was that his wealth had accrued interest and had not been spent for, how old was he? 11 when they found him? For more than a decade. So that's where the money came from. That's where the wealth came from. His parents weren't paying their mortgage because they didn't have a mortgage. They weren't paying for their car. They weren't paying insurance. They weren't paying for food. They weren't paying for the heating bill. They weren't paying for anything because they weren't alive. And that's where the money came from. So I don't think the idea was that he was meant to be wealthy or that they had been wealthy prior to their deaths. Yeah, Subsam Jam is kind of hit the nose on the head there. She's very much an anti-trans advocate. She's very much leaned into, my understanding is she's very much leaned into white supremacist ideologies. And she has really kind of gone off the deep end as far as the whole, I don't really want to get deep into this because I personally could not make a good argument for this because I haven't put a lot of time and effort into understanding the scope of just how far off the tracks that she has gone. Only that of the reports I've seen, of the screenshots of her tweets, and all the quotes of her being this anti-woke style person that she had become after joining the billionaire class, which was not at all how she represented herself early on in her career. I just think money changed her, is what it boils down to. That's my take. That's my personal take on it. Maybe she always was this awful person, and she hid it well because it made her money to pretend to like everybody and to agree and to believe in fairness and equality for all. She doesn't anymore. So yeah, that's the story there. And that's why it's so controversial to still talk about or to embrace Harry Potter now. Subsam Gem says the YouTuber Sean did a great video on her. Google Sean Harry Potter or search YouTube. Came for the art fight, stayed for the class fighting. Rain jokes. Yeah, sorry. We've got a lot. We got a lot of feels and a lot of opinions about a lot of things. But we are still talking about art fight. That was just a little deviation, a little something that popped up. That's how live streams go. It becomes a conversation, and part of that conversation is allowing. It's not structured. I mean, we start with a structure, but it's okay to explore some of the tangents, right? Yeah, Rain says, yeah, it's very okay. All right, so now that we've talked about this, let's talk about the 2025 roadmap. And there's a lot of text here that I'm scrolling past. This is the most recent news bulletin. So if you really do want to do a deep dive after this stream into all of this stuff that I'm just kind of like skipping past, it's really easy to locate on the Art Fight homepage. You literally just go to the Art Fight homepage, and right here under news, you can click the news link. It'll take you to the top of the news bulletin, or if you could look at this one, the most recent news bulletin, 2024 budget and 2025 roadmap. That's literally what we're going over right now. And looking at the 2025 roadmap and contributions tiers here, this is what their plan is to pay for Art Fight 2025. So everything that we looked at, all the transparency in the pie chart and the breakdown of the budget allocations in the first part of the stream were all for 2024. We were seeing it in hindsight. Now we're looking at 2025. How are they going to find that same money to continue to pay for the needs of the Art Fight hosting website and so on, so that we can continue to play Art Fight for free. And this is basically the breakdown. They've talked about the roadmap and the contribution tiers. And this is where I was talking about there are certain benefits to being a donor on Art Fight. And those are called contribution tiers. You receive certain extras. So like if you've ever gone on Art Fight and seen, I know I have it in here, what's possible in Art Fight. So I'm just going to click on some of these profiles, right? If you've ever come for, so here's for example, and seen a profile that has all of this extra like stuff going on that you're like, how did they do that? How can I do that with my profile? There's a chance that some of these extras, these extra abilities are because they are a donor. And yeah, we're seeing like user VIP plus. I think that's their donor status. And then, so I have a couple of others we can take a look at. I just saved here. So if you look at Abstracted's profile, this one's actually not a donor, but here are, right, Abstracted's in the chat, right? I think they are. But this is some of the stuff that you can do even if you're not a donor. So it's not like you can't customize your page. You still can. We've got GIFs on here. We've got the floating banners, an animated team card, which these come out every year once they reveal the themes, the team themes. So yeah, you can still customize your page without having to pay or donate. But if you do want to donate, you're going to be able to do a little extra. And I clicked on that one thinking that was going to be one of the extras. It's not. So let's try one more time. Let's I don't know. Let's click on this one. Let's see what it gives us. Oh, they took theirs down. Okay. Well, the first one was a pretty solid example. Let's like circle back to that first. So this wallpaper back here, that is a donor perk, being able to do a complete customizable wallpaper. Rain says, remember to hydrate. Yeah, that's a good one. Don't forget to drink some water. You've never done Art Fight Subsam Jam says, but I'd like to if it's something you can still sign up for. Yeah, you can sign up all year long. You can sign up on the last day of Art Fight. You can sign up in off season, which is right now is off season. And then when it opens for, and it's good to sign up in off season actually, because you're able to work on customizing your profile and uploading your character references before the game starts. So for example, I've got my profile here, it's customized. I don't know what the themes are going to be this year, so I just picked some artwork that I liked off of DeviantArt. They're all clickable, by the way. You can click and go right back to where I got it from. So, whoops. I didn't realize it was going to do that. So yeah, if I just click on any of these, it'll take you to whoever made it. So this person made this. Okay, so I didn't make these, but I do make it so that they are attributed. You can create, I am not on a paid profile right now. I haven't contributed in a couple of years. I'll show you where you can track your contributions though. But I'm still able to add these little tables. I'm still able to add GIFs. I'm still able to add badges and things like that. So I've got my profile customizable. This is a great time right now, a month before Art Fight starts, to sign in, create an account and start building your profile. And then your characters pages. This is where you're going to upload your characters. So here we have, like, here's Caitlin from Love Curse Queen of Rogues. She's on here. I've got the top row is my comic characters from my older comic, Venerable. And then a lot of these are my D&D characters. So things like that, any kind of original character that you've created, whether you have a whole story for them or if it's just a drawing that you really liked, you can add them here as long as they are your OCs, your original characters. Artbreaker says, I try to keep mine Artbreaker themed so I don't have to change it every year in theory. I usually end up redoing it every year anyway, though. Yeah, that's also a good way to approach it. So you don't have to wait to find out what the theme is going to be for each year. Right, so talking about contributions, though. So, for example, we saw the one page that had all of the wallpaper on it, right? And right here it says contributions. Let me zoom in. I feel like this is too small. You guys want to be able to read this. Okay, there we go. So new features for the discovery page. If you are a contributor, so let me start at the top. I'm trying too hard to skim. Let's just go with the top. These are the roadmap and contribution tiers for 2025. Paid developers. Because there was a high AWS bill, they've rebudgeted to ensure they have enough funds to hire the right person and more than enough to keep the site healthy. But that has, now that they have stabilized their budget and are confident with the outlook, they're excited to share that they have hired that development, and the priority in the coming months will be to finish the remaining of the tiers for 2024. So they are delivering on the tier promises from 2024, and here are the 2025 items. They will continue to publish the breakdown of composition for next year's budget. So that's just a little nod to the fact that they've always been transparent and they're going to continue to be transparent. New features, though, discovery page, a new page on the site that allows for different search options, replacing the old search feature. People have complained for years about the search feature. They are doing what they can and they're making it a priority to repair the search feature. So this is going to become a much more effective search feature. They place on showcasing different types of users. And for example, if you're a new player, so you can search by newcomer, or if it's somebody who has a high battle ratio. So they're creating new ways to sort and search for players. So if you're looking for somebody to attack that you've been attacking like 10 people and nobody's attacked back and you're starting to feel a little bummed out, you can search up somebody who has a high battle ratio to increase the chance that they're going to attack back. Contributor relative to each respective search will be marked with special decoration to indicate what type of contributor they are. So this goes back to what we saw with the wallpaper account, right? Right next to their name, it said VIP+. That shows that they are a donor. So if you're a donor, there will be some kind of marker next to your name that says that you're a donor. So like when I was a donor in the past, it's been a couple years, I think I had supporter next to my name. So if you donate, there will be like a little bit of like a little tag to identify you as a supporter of, like a financial supporter of ArtFight. There's the ability to perform certain changes on multiple attacks and characters. I'm not aware of this. I don't know if this is new for 2025 or if this is just part of the perk package that comes with being a donor. And we're not going to read through every one of these, but you absolutely can pause the screen and look at these yourself if that's something you want to do, or you can check after the stream, going back, if you're considering being a donor and you want to know what your perks are. After stream, you can go check out this newsletter and figure out what those perks are. I'm going to try to show you guys real quick where you can kind of check your donor status. Like if you've been a donor in the past, I know there's a way I've seen, or if you were a donor this year and you want to check on, here you go, your contributions. So you can go into edit, like on your profile, click edit, and it'll bring you to these tabs. And if you click over here to contribution history, you can see here that I am not an active contributor. I'm not contributing this year. I didn't contribute last year, so I do not have any kind of contribution perks. But I did contribute in the past. Here I did $5 in 2020. And that was one of the perks for being a $5 contributor, was you could change your name, your profile name. So I used to be Arcella Arts. I wanted to be PerryPictures. So I did a $5 donation and updated my profile name to PerryPictures, and I've been PerryPictures ever since 2020. Camp says, it is my goal to keep a high battle ratio and revenge everyone this year. That is a good goal to have. That is also my goal. I always want to protect my battle ratio. I always want to feel like I left no stone unturned. Rain says, wait, is this basically an ArtFight War Room meeting? I mean, kind of. It feels like it, right? We're breaking it down. We're getting into like the strategy and the and behind the scenes. We're looking at the back door and everything. Artbreaker, I try to keep... Oh, I read that part already. Subjam says, really cool. Just created an account. I'll have to start adding my characters this weekend. Absolutely. This is the perfect time. And just so you guys know, I do have on YouTube an entire playlist. Where's my YouTube? There it is. It's the first one. I don't know how I didn't see that. If we go to my account, okay, and you look down here at playlist, I have an ArtFight help playlist. And you can click on this one. I've literally put 61 videos in here, but I will tell you some of those, like the top ones, the top videos are helpful videos, like tutorials. Like here I have my full from the ground up tutorial on how to like join ArtFight, how to create your account, how to upload your characters, everything you need to know in here, even how to like submit an attack. All of it's in this very first video. And then I talk about how to ArtFight prep in 1 week. So we are like 1 month out, but if you want to look at all of the bases you want to cover prior to July 1st, this is a great video because this is your prep work prior to the launch date, July 1st. Here we have tips on how to get ahead of ArtFight before it begins. This is just my personal advice after doing ArtFight for 8 years. These are the things I have learned that I think really help. So this is really like a veteran's perspective and giving you guys a lot of like insider knowledge, okay? We also have help answers to common ArtFight questions. And here I go over stuff like how to design your profile and how to add certain images to your profile. Because I know that when you're first starting out, that can be a little difficult to figure out. And so I go over that here. This one's for mass attacks and revenge chains to make sure that you're setting up your attack submissions correctly in order to get credit for mass attacks and in order to get credit for revenge chains, because you do get more points if you set these up correctly. So I do recommend looking at this as well. This one is by another channel that I always add videos, whether they're mine or not, to this playlist. It doesn't matter what channel it comes from. If it's helpful to ArtFight, I put it in this playlist. So this is not me just promoting my videos. This is me promoting ArtFight videos that I think are really useful for ArtFight players. Whether I made the video or not, it does not matter. I will send you to somebody else's channel if I think it'll help you enjoy ArtFight better. Hello, Lunar Garden. Hello, Pocolate. Really good to see you. When do we get our dog tags? I know, right? Our art fight dog tags. Art fight warriors. Artbreaker says around June 12 through 15, LOL. Oh, that's true. Yeah, when we see the team reveals, that'll be really fun. I always love the team reveals. It's so exciting. Here's one by Alredius. She's got an art fight prepping video. She's been popping them out too. I think she has 3 new videos this year on art fight prepping. So if you want to check those out, they're really fresh. She just dropped them this month. So go to her channel and check those out. Here's one about increasing the quality of your art fight thumbnails. This one is a 3-minute video by Tershina Talks. She keeps it real short and simple and to the point, so that's a great one to check out. So I have like this entire playlist here for you guys, okay? It's great to listen to in the background as well when you are drawing your art fight art. You just want like to listen to art fight related content. You want something, I've got live streams in here from past years of art fight that are really great as background noise. So once you get past all these tutorials up here, the rest of the playlist is just a bunch of art fight live streams. And so it's really great background noise when you're trying to do art fight and you want to feel like you're working together with other players and you want to hear them talk about art fight because you're like locked in. That's what this playlist is great for. There's like so many of them, and I've got so many different channels on here talking about this. I've got Sudoku Sen, Arcolar, I can't pronounce that, but that's here. Some of mine, we've got Pilfer Pup, we've got Already-ish, we've got some from Rivoli, Generic Honeydew, so here's Delineated Depths, Phoenix Mask, for anybody who saw Phoenix Mask basically debut last year, and they just like exploded in the art fight space in a very good way. Really good channel. This is their like bread and butter, so definitely check them out. There's a ton in here that I think are really good videos, and I think this playlist, you should definitely be saving this playlist for your July art fight, because this is like the one-stop shop for everything art fight. Just saying. We Hire Monkey says, I have a video to make about using wind tunnel images as a reference for lightning. It shouldn't work, but somehow it does. Yeah, make that video. If you have the time and the energy, make that video. Cam says, my last character design burnt me out so bad. The one before that was nice, but this one got me so tired. I feel that. Some of them can be pretty mentally exhausting. I think I have a video too on, yeah, right here, character reference sheets. And redrawing old characters, for example. Like I did a 5+ year redraw because I wanted to do like a character up. I had a reference sheet that was really out of date. It was really behind in my art style and my skill level, and so I did a video about updating that. And I think this one's really good for anybody who is also working on character reference sheets. I find it helps when you're listening to somebody talk about the thing you're trying to do because you can stay focused, and that's what this video is. So J1K says, my latest character named Romulus took me 2 days to do his profile. Yeah, sometimes they're a lot of work. Is there a link to the art fight playlist? Yeah, let me just go ahead and share that. And you are so right to ask that. Art fight master playlist. Here's the link, and I will go ahead and pin that comment as well to the top of chat so that anybody who needs it has access to it, and that will get you to this like art fight playlist. Definitely recommend it. I've spent a couple of years sort of like tweaking and updating and editing this playlist, so I really do think that is a very quality playlist. Highly recommend. It's got like characters in here from like so many channels, or not characters, but content in here from so many channels that I respect and find to provide a lot of value. All right, so aside from the $5 donation tier, which I did in 2020, the perk was I could update my name. There was also other perks, like I got like contributor written next to my my name on my art fight profile, and a couple of other things that I was allowed to do because I donated that year. I donated again in 22, so I didn't donate anything in 21. In 22, I donated again $10.80. I have no idea why. It was hey buddy, no. Okay. Sorry, I just caught my cat drinking out of the fish tank. So definitely had to put a stop to that. That's not good. All right. Yeah, I don't know why 1080 It's really a strange number, 1080. It's not $10 flat, 80 cents extra for some reason. I'm not sure what I was trying to do there, but I'm sure that whatever it was had to do with a certain perk that I wanted. So it's the 80 cents that counts as hair monkeys. Lunar Garden, oh no. Secret, I don't know what the oh no is for, but hopefully everything's okay. Oh, because the cat's drinking out of the fishing. Yeah, I have, it's my first planted tank. Sorry, I'm just gonna make this real quick. It's the first tank that I have where I have live plants in it. Usually I do the fake plants. And so I opened the lid during like daylight hours to try and let them get real sunlight from the window. But then I have to keep an eye on it because the cats will go in there and drink out of it. And I worry that they're going to slurp up a fish. So I got to be very careful. And I have to definitely keep an eye on it while it's opened. But those plants do need those UV rays, you know? So sometimes you just gotta do a little bit of extra monitoring. Just a sprinkle of chaos. No one sees that 80 cents coming. Yeah. 1000% sure though that I did this for a certain perk that I wanted. So definitely if you're interested in upgrading your art fight this year and you want certain features, definitely check out that features list in the Art Fight News Bulletin. Come through here and check out like what the tiers are. So that you can, and I think also if we go up here, let's see, support art fight. All right, if you're considering it, if you're considering doing some kind of contribution, or if you don't even, or if you're not even worried about perks, you just want to donate because you understand that like, hey, art fight's expensive for the developers and for the mods, and I want to help them so that I can keep playing every year and it doesn't get shut down. You can come in here and do a one-time contribution, which is what I did in the past, the last 2 times I did it. You don't have to put your Discord ID in here, but you can if you want to. And if you do, and I think this is going to tell you, oh, this tells you how to find your Discord ID number. Anyway, your Discord ID, if you put it in here, the benefit of adding your Discord ID is that in the Art Fight server on Discord, they will, I think, color code your name to show that you are a contributor. And so you will have your username in Discord will stand out as a contributor. That's why if you want to, you can add your Discord ID because it gives you certain privileges in the Discord channel for Art Fight. Kitty woke up and decided to identify as a problem. Yeah, such a mischievous kitty. Agreed. He's always trying to like push the boundaries a little bit. That said, if you don't want to do the Discord ID, that's fine too. You can just click support Art Fight via PayPal. I do think PayPal is the only way to contribute right now. I've always had to do it through PayPal. I'm not a huge fan of PayPal, personally speaking. I don't love PayPal. But it's the only way to... Oh, it's not the only way. Look at this. Donate with debit card. Okay. Perfect. So for people like me who really don't feel comfortable using PayPal, there is a donate with debit card option. So let's... Oh, you gotta tell how much you want to do. And then you can click donate with debit card. Add $0 to help cover fees. I don't know why that's there, but okay. You can donate either way. That's beautiful. I'm so happy to see that. I'm glad that we're doing this video so that I can learn this. You can donate with PayPal or with a debit or credit card. I'm not going to do this right now on screen because I'm not trying to put my credit card information in live, and that would just be like the dumbest thing I could possibly do. So we're going to cancel and return to Art Fight. But yeah, it's real simple. You go to shop, you hit support Art Fight, you make a contribution. Bonus name changes. By the way, I paid $5 for my name change. You don't have to. If you want to do a name change, it's $2. And so it's a much lower fee than what I paid. I don't know if that's because the cost went down or if I just rounded up to $5 because I could. I'm not sure what happened there. But if you really don't like your Art Fight name and you want to change it like I did, you can pay a really small donor perk. And here you can see the reward tiers. So before you just arbitrarily pick a number that you want to support, scroll down and find out what you get for each tier. So here we have donor tiers on the right toolbar on the side, okay? Donor tier of $2 or more, you get a donor title. So like how I said before, I thought I said supporter next to my name, it'll say donor next to your name. So it'll say PerryPictures donor if you put $2 or more. And then also, it says right up here for $2, you can do one name change. So that's another reward that's not written right here, but it's written above it, bonus name changes. So you can do a bonus name change. I do think you do get, like, it's saying a bonus name change, so I do think you have like a free name change in the hopper at some point. I'm not sure what the rules are exactly there, but you can try to change your name first before paying, just see how it works out for you. And if you know, come back and tell us in the comments on this video so that we can figure that, so that other people can learn that as well. Heartbreaker says, doesn't a $5 donation give you some better search features too? Yeah, so let's go down to $5. So instead of doing $2 just to get the donor title and a name change, you can do a $5 or more and you'll get supporter. So when I said supporter was next to my name, that was correct because I did $5. So you get supporter title. There will be a little heart displayed next to your username. I remember that. I forgot, but now it makes sense. Access to attack characters and user search engine on the website. So you're correct. Who said that? Artbreaker? Yeah, Artbreaker, you were right. You will have access to a more specific search engine on the Artfight website. You also get special roles and the ability to react in the Artfight Discord server. So when I was telling you, you put in your Discord name, it'll give you special perks in the Discord. This is what it's talking about. All right, so Supporter Plus, $15 or more, you get all of those previous rewards, the name change, the supporter icon, the special access to the search engine, but you also get featured on the featured members page. And if you log in, it's always on, like, I'm just gonna go straight home. Featured members is right here. This is featured members. So they are the ones that are right on the homepage every single time you log in. If you want to increase your visibility to other players, because I know a lot of people come in here and they'll click on these, especially like the little animated ones. I've done it. I'm like a crow. I see movement, I see shiny, and I click. So if I come in here and I see these people like moving, I'm just more curious about their profiles. But even if your profile doesn't move, like if it's super cute, like this one, by the way, super cute in my opinion. I mean, look at that gorgeous, gorgeous profile. Absolutely delightful. And that is definitely somebody who has been a donor. So you can see that they are a premium donor. They've used their perks to their full advantage by completely customizing their page, and it looks stunning. I really like this. It's beautiful. And sometimes people will come in here, whoops, let me back up, and click on these featured members just because they can see all those lovely, shiny, new, cool, exciting things. JK1, my curiosity gets me on the main page. All right, so back to, where were we? Here. So that's Supporter Plus, $15 or more, you end up on the featured page. Premium donors, which is what we just saw, right, on that last featured user that I clicked on, they paid $25 or more, so they get to, there says premium with a filled in heart. And it says previous rewards plus a filled in heart displayed by your username and the ability to edit your profile CSS. That is where each and every one of these wallpapered profiles comes from. They are at least a $25 donor or more. If you want to have one of those really decked out, super custom wallpapered profiles, this is the tier that you have to sub to in order to create one of those profiles. Now, once you pay for the $25, Artfight is not going to decorate your profile for you. Let's just get that super crystal clear. You still have to do the work, which means I really hope that you understand how to do CSS, or that you are willing to spend a little bit of time. And they do provide this link to you, so it's not out of reach. You can just come right here to Artfight Basics, CSS Help. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and drop this into the chat as well. For anybody who is interested, did that not work? Maybe that didn't work. Let me try that again. Copy link. I'm going to delete the previous one, and we're going to try this again. CSS Artfight tutorial. There we go. Now it's clickable. So there's the clickable link. Subjam says, I gotta go. Thanks for stream. So good to see you. Thank you for being here. I hope that this was really enlightening and informative. And I look forward to seeing you on Artfight. And we will obviously do more of this in the future. So stay tuned. Stay subscribed to my channel. We're going to cover a lot this Artfight. Like every Artfight, because Artfight is definitely my bread and butter as well. JK1 says, got it. Okay, so the link works. Perfect. So if you need help setting up your profile after you pay that $25 tier reward so that you can do all those cool customizations, this will tell you exactly how to do that. So there's like a complete tutorial here, the basics for setting up your Artfight profile, and it's going to give you all the data as far as like changing your fonts, changing the font color, adding elements. So you've got all of these like headers and wrappers and all of these other kind of elements here. So this is definitely going to help you out. And if you are struggling with it, obviously go into the Artfight Discord. You will have access to certain channels in the Artfight Discord where you can ask other creators to help you with customizing your profile. And I'm positive that somebody there will be very happy to help you do that. So they love to share their knowledge. They all want to see everybody happy and thriving. And so do not be shy. Please take advantage of the Artfight Discord and talk to those people to help you set up your profile the way that you want it to get set up. Okay, moving forward, there's VIP, VIP Plus. I think that first one with the animated chicken GIF that we looked at maybe 20 minutes ago had VIP Plus. That's what we saw. And that means that they are 150 or more donor. We're going to start with VIP because I don't want to skip this and try to go backwards. That's a little silly. So $75 or more will get you VIP status. This is all the previous rewards, the CSS profile editing, the special access to the more detailed search engine, the name changing opportunity, etc. This will give you this little heart with the pulse through it displayed next to your username. It'll say VIP role, both on Artfight and on the Artfight Discord server, giving you access to VIP Discord roles and channels. Do not sleep on the Discord. I truly want to emphasize that if you have Discord, when you make your donation, definitely input your Discord ID, because half of these perks are tied to your Discord access. VIP Plus, this is 150 or more. So like I was just saying, the person with the chicken account, if we go right back here to October's profile, this is what I'm talking about. So this person is a VIP Plus user. They have completely decked out and modded their accounts. I love the video game theme that they went with. I think that's really cool. These are their OCs, by the way. These are their OCs that you can attack, set up as video game characters. It's just really a fun thing. But what we're talking about here is the contribution level, which they're VIP Plus, which means they get all the previous rewards. Choose the symbol by your username. Let's see what they chose. They chose a ghost. Okay, so that's what that means. So here's a perfect example of what they mean by you can choose your symbol. They chose this ghost symbol, which is interesting. And more ideas are welcome. I don't know what this is. Let's open it up. Discord Artfights. This takes you to the Discord channel, I'm assuming, where you can make suggestions. Sponsor is the highest tier. The highest tier, and it's $800 or more. I don't have that kind of disposable income. You're not going to see me with this sponsor tier. It's like producer level tier, like you're an executive producer or something. But for those of you who may have the ability to support Artfight with that kind of cash flow, then you would be considered a sponsor. You get all the previous rewards. Your characters will be featured in the 2026 Artfight banner. And by the way, the banners, oh, they're not up right now. But if you look at the YouTube channel videos that we talked about in the past, so let me just open this up real quick. July 1st, and I can... That one doesn't show a banner because it's a day one. Let's do maybe this one. Actual art itself. This button here on are a bunch of... Okay, nope, this one doesn't have it either. I guess the best place to really show this to you is going to be the Artfight. Where would it be? It would be under their... I think they keep them all on DeviantArt, the Artfight DeviantArt. Let me see. deviantart.com/artfight. And that's not Artfight. Okay. Art_fight. Let's try that. Nope. I really think this is important, so I'm going to go out of my way to find this for you guys, okay? We're going to go to the Artfight account. We're going to find the banners. I should be looking at Deviants, okay? Artfight, official Artfight. It used to be listed on the Artfight website. I don't know why it's not easily accessible through there. I wonder if they took down... That would be extreme, though, if they did take down their Artfight account. I'm sure they had a great reason for it if they did. Does anybody know about this? Is this something that was like announced and I just missed it? J1K says maybe one day Artbreaker may have just donated to the 25 tier. LL. Feel like I should support them after 8 years of being a free art fighter. Yeah, it feels good too if you're able to support Artfight, especially as a return player. It just feels like giving back after they've given us so much for so little, you know. Lunar Garden art assets shows the old banners. Art assets. Let's just go there then instead of me trying to fight through all of this. So let's go back to Artfight help. Art assets. There we go. Here we are. Oh, and these are fun too. I know we talk about these a lot in all our other videos, so I'm not really going to talk about them. But if you want to add any of the official art from past years that you played in, you can just right-click these, hit copy image address, and use that to add it to your profile when you edit your profile. I have quite a few of these in my profile. If you saw that already, like, let's just go back to PerryPictures for a second. So if we scroll down here, I have all my old year icons here. And I used to put these on there as well, the team emotes, but I don't now for a very specific reason. And that's because if I go into my statistics page, by the way, just let me flex for a second. My battle ratio here is 51.93%. So almost a 52% battle ratio, which means I attack more than I get attacked. Even still. And you guys keep making it harder and harder for me every year. Last year, I got KO'd. You guys destroyed me last year, 38% battle ratio, but my average for all 8 years remains high. I'm still in like the 52 percentile battle ratio overall for my 8 years total. But I did get just annihilated last year. That doesn't mean I didn't attack people back, because I attacked back every attack I got. I left no crumbs. Everything, the table was cleared, okay? But because I did a lot of my attacks as mass attacks, where I would attack multiple characters in one attack, it lowered my battle ratio compared to doing individual attacks for every person. But this is why I said I don't really add these to my profile, because they're over here on my statistics page. I still have all of these badges on my statistics page for past year team themes and stuff. Artbreaker says 63% battle ratio. Everybody add Artbreaker to your attack list. We gotta squash that. We can't be having that. That's a no bueno. We gotta humble Artbreaker. Artbreaker. I'm gonna take you guys to Artbreaker's page, and I know one way to get there is like this. By the way, if you're able, I don't know if you're able to add your links to the chat, or if it won't let you. If it won't let you, what I recommend is just drop this little squiggly line with your profile name, and people will know what to do with that. They'll just go to their account and then replace their own name with yours, and that's how you guys can follow each other. So go ahead and drop your profile names in the chat so that everybody can kind of like create one big follow chain, and we create this community that all follows and attacks each other. That way everybody that comes to the live streams gets art. Them's our goals, right? Like, we want everybody that comes to these live streams to make sure that they get art. Lunar Garden says 68% on the dot for my battle ratio. My art fight is a Lunar Garden. Yeah, I already follow all you guys, so I don't need to copy these, but I highly, highly, highly encourage you guys to copy each other's. Please do. And make sure that you are browsing each other's characters and getting each other on your... Look at this beautifully animated character card. Or player card, sorry. And here, like I was saying with mine, I had tables, and this is beautiful, by the way, at Breaker. I might have to steal this idea where you put your stats for each year in a table. That is really cool. I really like that. I might have to steal that. I might have to do the same thing. But yeah, here are the characters for Artbreaker. Definitely come in here and add some of those to your bookmarks. Remember, your bookmarks are right here. So you can always find, again, any characters that you have bookmarked and save those to your computer or your phone or whatever. Save them offline for day one of Artfight, because the website typically crashes on day one from everybody trying to use it at exactly the same time. And the best way to be able to reference characters to draw on day one is to have them saved offline. So that's my little nugget of wisdom for you guys in the meantime. So looking back at these The point of this was to look at, where are the banners? Here we go, the banners. This goes back to here. We were talking about the VIPs and the sponsors. If you are a sponsor, $800 or more, your characters will be featured in the 2026 Art Fight banner. So that means that the banner that comes out this year, 2025, will include characters from the 2024 donors. So people who donated last year are going to be on this year's banner reveal. So when we see this come out, and these are the banners that go across the top of the website all month long during Art Fight, all of July, your characters would be in these. So these guys are the donors from, what year is this? This is 2021 Steampunk versus Cyberpunk. So these are the 2020 donors, sponsor donors. Their characters ended up on these banners. And they are always theme-based. They always match the new theme. And they are just a vibe. So that's just a little heads up, a little FYI on what that means. Thank you so much. Who was it? Was it Lunar Garden that told me where to find? Yeah, art assets shown on the old banners. Thank you, Lunar Garden, for helping us out there with finding these examples. And let's just take a look at a couple more. Let's look at Bloom versus Wither. These were the Bloom versus Wither banners. There were a lot more banners, and these rotate. Every time you refresh page or go from one page to another page, like from your profile to somebody else's profile, the banners will rotate. They will refresh, and you will see a different banner. Vampires versus Werewolves. This was a really cool, I liked the stained glass look of these. They were really cool. These are some of the banners that were rotating that year. So you get all these characters. Like this one right here, this chicken character, I'm pretty sure we looked at this person's count like 3 times already. I think this chicken's name is Spooky Chook, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a look and see. I'm going to go back to that profile, October's profile. There's the chicken, right? And we can see it right here on the banner, right here in the red robe in the beginning, in the front. And then if we go to their characters, player 1 is this chicken. I guess I'm like just making up the name then, Spooky Chook. I think that's what their name used to be. October was not their name before. If I'm not mistaken, it was Spooky Chook before. And they might have changed it at some point, or I might just be mixing them up with somebody else, which is also completely possible. I might be able to tell if I can see the one that I drew for that character, because I did one year. This is me trying to see if I'm crazy. Like, I want to know if this is the character that I did art fight or an art attack for once. So I'm just checking for that. Because I feel like I did. Yeah, I did right here. So Winter Wonderland, I drew this character before, and I'm so sure that back then either the character or the creator was called Spooky Chook, but now it's October, and that's perfectly fine. If they rename their character or their profile, that's not my business. They can do whatever they want. But that's just one of the perks that you get also with being a donor. You can change your username. So there we go. We see it in action. Copying y'all's usernames because my profile is it's barely started. Don't be ashamed, Rain. It's okay. We all start somewhere. In fact, we love seeing new players join. It's very exciting, and we like to share the warmth and the excitement with you. So I'm really happy that you're joining this year. I'm really glad that you're getting something out of this live stream and that you're joining the community of players. And I'm really, really happy that we're going to get to see your characters join this summer. And you'll be able to play with us, and we'll get to draw yours and you'll draw ours. So definitely copy all those usernames, add them to your follow list, go through and just click follow on all of them, and it makes it real simple. What happens when you follow other people? Let's go ahead and head to the top of the screen. Their updates will show up in your subscriptions. So people that you follow, like I'm following Poyo from the webcomic contest, met them for the webcomic 2025 contest, Webcomic Legends, and found out that they have an Art Fight account, so I went and followed them. So now when you follow them, anytime they make updates to their profile or their characters, they add new characters, they'll show up in your subscriptions list. So your follows are your subscriptions. And now I'm subscribed to Poyo, so I see all of Poyo's characters being added. I'm subscribed to Pinkra 5. I think I have been for like at least 5 years, so I'll see every time Pinkra adds a new character, that'll come here. And this is brilliant because the characters or the players that you like when they add new characters, you'll get notified, and then you can go open that up like I just did, decide if you really like that character, if you want to bookmark them so that you can come back to it on your list of people you want to attack. You just create an order number. I've been doing this for 8 years, so my numbers are kind of high and getting ridiculous. And then hit bookmark character. They did add, this is new, you guys, you can organize your bookmarks now by folders, which I think Friendy Leah, aka Already-ish, really needed this because she had 999 bookmarks or pages of bookmarks. I almost feel like it was like pages of bookmarks. It was insane. She had maxed out the maximum number of bookmarks you could have. She needs folders. And for some of you guys who are like that, who have an insane number of bookmarks, this is going to help you, this new folder feature, so that you can sort and organize them better. So just a little FYI for our bookmark enthusiasts. We Hire Dragons said, I seem to recall that there was a Werewolf Fear 1 year theme. I don't understand what you're saying. Somehow I got so much better in the last year, more than the last 5 years. Yeah, that's the other thing about Art Fight that I hammer in so many of my videos. Art Fight is like boot camp. It's gonna level you up. And you can do it at your own pace. Like, you really don't have to pump out a drawing a day or 3 drawings a day, or gosh, some people can do like as much as 10 drawings a day. It's kind of crazy how fast some people can draw. But you really can do it at your own pace. I tend to do, I think, about 30-ish drawings a year. So almost like a 1 a day average. And that's keeping in mind that I am a full-grown adult, I have a job, and I can't give that much time to drawing every day because most of the time I'm at work. That might not be true this year since I still don't have a job yet, but we'll see what happens. That said, my attacks tend to be about 30 a year. Last year I attacked 52 characters last year. So just because I do about 30 drawings, a drawing a day, doesn't mean it's only 30 characters. Sometimes I combine characters into the same drawing, and so I did 52 characters last year. That 52 characters definitely leveled me up. My skill level increased in 1 month because I drew 52 characters that are not my characters. And the reason why I'm emphasizing not my characters is because it kind of forces you to draw stuff outside of your norm, outside of your comfort zone. You still get to choose what characters you want to draw, so you could technically draw things that are very comfortable for you, very normal to you, very similar to your own stuff. But if you take a look at my attacks, this is just my personal situation, like how I choose to play this game is I want diversity. I am always looking for a diverse cast of characters to draw, so I'm drawing animals, I'm drawing anthros, I'm drawing, like here we have an anthropomorphic cat, an anthropomorphic bat, a mermaid. Here we have a straight up like normal dog, so a dog portrait. Like here we have 2 cats and this cowy squirrel, 9-tailed squirrel looking thing. I've got people, I've got mechs, I've got this, like, I don't know what that is. I think it's a DS or something. It's some kind of video game console as a character. So just a lot of diversity, drawing a lot of things that I find very creative and outside of my own personal design standards. And it also helps me to grow my creative thinking when it comes to how I design characters, because I draw things that I would not come up with on my own, and it helps me grow as an artist. So that's just one of the benefits that you get from doing Art Fight. The obvious benefit, I think the first benefit that every new player is attracted to is the defenses, the art you receive from other players. So you get all this gift art for free. People just draw your characters for free, so you get all these beautiful gift arts, right? It's an art trading game. You get art for free of your characters. That's the obvious benefit, but the other side that you kind of like learn through experience is that you will level up your skills if you play this game and if you do it with intentionality. That's why I focus so much on diversifying my attacks on characters that I would not have made. So if I'm like, that's not a character I'm comfortable with, like this one is a perfect example. I would not have designed this character because I just am not personally an anthropomorphic artist. It doesn't mean I'm not going to draw anthro characters, especially during art fight. I'm definitely going to draw anthro characters during art fight because it's not something I'm used to. And so I think I did a terrible job on this. I really don't think I did very good. I think the skull, I flattened the skull back here. It definitely should have come back further. I see some anatomical issues with it that I could have fixed with a little bit more time. Yeah, see, here we go. I'm not used to drawing animal types, so I apologize for any mistakes with proportions, but I tried it, and I'm going to get better at it every time I do it. So that's kind of the point. We're leveling up our skills as artists as we're giving away all this gift art of characters that we did not design because it benefits us to draw characters that we did not design as artists. It teaches us. Artbreaker, I loved the attack I got last year. The angle was so impressive. Yeah, that was a tricky one. And that's another example of like just me pushing myself. I drew this character for Artbreaker with pens and pencils, which is another tricky thing for me because I've been a digital artist for 10 years and I haven't touched pencils, pens, or markers since like high school, maybe even earlier. So I was really pushing myself. And then I also went the extra mile drawing this like aerial top-down view because I wanted to try. It was later in the art fight season. I had already drawn a ton of portraits just staring straight at you. And I wanted to do something different. I was still pushing myself to try something different. So I drew this. And the character, let's go ahead and take a look at the character. So you can kind of see what I was going for here. This little cutie patootie, this absolute darling, is who I was drawing. Drop your name too, Kai-san. Yes, please do. Everybody put your usernames, your art fight usernames in the chat so people can find your profiles. And again, just to remind you how you can do that. Can you guys see this top toolbar? I don't know how you can see this. Okay, look. You can go to your profile. I just went to my profile. And then you highlight your name. You guys can see this, right? You highlight your name right behind the squiggly line and you replace it with somebody else's. So now that I just typed in Artbreaker where my name was, it took me to Artbreaker's page. And that's like a good way to find and follow. I'm not going to click this because it would unfollow. I'm already following Artbreaker. But then you can find their profile and then follow them. And that will make it so that you can always come back to their profile. If you're wondering where you can find your followers or the people you're following, go into, where is it? Oh, you just go into edit. Like you're on your profile, just click edit and then go here to followed users. This will show you all the players that you're following. And that way, if you're ever like, where was that one person? They had this character I really wanted to draw. Like this person, Kitty Knight, I've been drawing back and forth with them for years, literally for years. Like look how long they've been on ArtBite since 2018. I have been drawing back and forth with them. I think I do at least one attack every year with Kitty Knight. And I can always find my way back to them by going to my followers, to the people I follow. And then these are all the characters for Kitty Knight. So I really like this player. I think she's a sweetheart. I love drawing her characters. She always attacks back. So she's got like an amazing attack ratio. Let's check her statistics. Yeah, look at that. 55.15%. I mean, she got ratioed last year, but ultimately she is well established as somebody who holds her own and is really good at returning fire, revenging people who attack her. So if you're looking for somebody that is most likely to attack you back every year and who shows up every year, I also recommend Kitty Knight. Great player, real sweetheart, definitely would attack again. 10 out of 10. All right, so I think we've pretty much covered the budget, the contributions, the benefits, and the fact that no matter what, if you don't have the ability or if you're not interested in contributing, you don't have to. You are still able to play this for free. But if you can contribute, if you are interested in helping support ArtFight, they do rely entirely on voluntary funds. They don't demand it from anybody. There's no sign-up cost. There's no subscription cost. they are still operating strictly on good faith that the players will come through for them and submit enough donations to cover the budget. If you're interested in getting physical perks instead of the digital perks from like supporting Artfight, a lot of digital perks, we went over them. We went through contribution rewards over here. If you would like a physical perch, you want some perch, I don't know why I said perch, you can come over here to the Artfight shop. Right now, they have the supporter keychains. The rest of their inventory probably got completely cleaned out last year. But right now they are offering this really cool keychain for Artfight supporters, and it has the year on it as well. So this is 2024. That's a little sad that it's got the previous year on it instead of this year. But if you still want to support and walk away with a keychain, you can do that here by buying this. They'll mail it to you and you'll have your physical merch, or you can just wait until they announce the new teams, the new team themes, and see what merch they drop then. So those are also some options to provide support for Artfight. I will say it doesn't show up in your, so if I go back to that page that I just closed, it will not show up here. So if you're going to your contribution history and you bought physical merch, you're not going to see that down here in your supporter tier. And I know this because I bought the plushie, and that's last year, and that's not showing up here. So if you want your contribution history to reflect that you contributed, and you want to have the perks like supporter written next to your name, you got to do it through Support Artfight. It can't be through the merch store. All right, so Perry, are you doing digital or traditional this year? Says Cam. It depends. So I finally got my iPad to charge. So I want to do digital this year. I did manage to get my dead iPad after leaving it plugged in for like 3 days. It finally started charging the battery. And now it has power, but I don't know where my Apple Pen is. I lost that. And I can't really afford to buy a new one right now. Because that would just be kind of silly when, you know, I'm supposed to be saving money to get me through my unemployment. So we'll see. If I can't find the Apple Pen, they will be traditional attacks again. If I can find the Apple Pen, I am planning on doing both traditional and digital. My hope is that I can take my Artfight attacks with me. Like I want to be able to do it from anywhere. I don't want to be tied to my desk. I am reaching a point where I'm spending way too much time working on comics at my physical desk. And I need to be able to get away from this desk. I can't spend all my time in this room sun up to sundown, which is what I've been doing. So for Artfight, I'm planning on doing it in a way that allows me to leave this space. I want to be able to go outside in the backyard. I want to be able to draw in the living room. So at the kitchen table, even anywhere else but here. And in order to do that, I either need to do it traditionally or I need my iPad to work so that I can do it in any room that I want. What about you guys? Are you planning to do digital or are you planning to do traditional art this year for Artfight? Or are you going to do a little mixture of both? Rain says, drop your username too. Yes, everybody please. Kai-san says theirs is Kai-san the artist, no spaces. You are in it with us now. 100%. Welcome to the party. Lunar Garden, that one I did for you last year was really fun to do. Yeah, I love it. I appreciate all of the attacks. I've gotten some. Let me show you guys a couple of really cool attacks I've got just to show you how creative people are. Let's head over to my defenses where I receive gifts from you guys, gift art from you guys. First of all, I want to show you this. Oh, they changed their name. It's Chow Tai Kitty. That's not what it was last year. That's new. This person was making physical characters into jewelry. They were turning characters into jewelry. And I knew as soon as I'm going to show you, I got 2 of them. And notice how it doesn't tell you which character it is just by looking at this. But I was on live stream when I opened this up and when I saw them for the first time, and I knew instantly which each one of these characters represented because they did such a perfect job balancing the color palette of each character in these 2 jewelry pieces that I could tell immediately that this is Greethan, my D&D Dragonborn character, and I could tell immediately that this one is my tiefling palette, my tiefling D&D character just based on the colors and the shape of the beads. Like these look like water beads, and it is a water druid. My character is a water druid. So just take a look at this real quick. Crayola Driftwood, D&D. She is this character, okay? The blue one. Tell me that that isn't so obviously that bracelet that that creator made as an attack. Like this was spot on. It is exactly her color palette. It's like this sandy gold color and this like seafoam blue. And it is perfect. This is exactly that character. They nailed it. It looks simple, but it's honestly so perfect. This is when people really understand color palettes and like just harmonious balance and design. I was shocked by this. I thought this was so cool. And this one is Greethan. And just to prove my point that that wasn't like a coincidence that the blue one was perfect. Look at how perfect this is. Do you guys see it? Like, can you tell how exactly right these were? Oh, I gotta like fix my chat so I can see the most recent comments. Alioun says digital all the way. I do everything on my iPad. I'm hoping my iPad works. I really want to do some more digital attacks because I'm just faster at digital, to be honest. I can do way more art fight when I do it digitally. So I really hope, you know, like fingers crossed and knock on wood that my iPad works and I can find the Apple Pencil. I really want to do some digital attacks this year. Artbreaker says I do mostly digital because it's a lot faster. Agreed. Oh my gosh, it's so much faster than traditional art. But you may do some paintings in your sketchbook if you're feeling it. I hear that. Digital is always my fave, says Annie made it. And both Donating on My Roots as raincoats. I think that's going to be, I'm like predicting that's what I'll do this year, is a little bit of both. Lunar Gray Digital for me. Kai San, thanks for having me. Of course. Rain says my comic work is mostly digital, so it'd be nice to do some traditional, but we'll see. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling the same way. I've been spending so much time these last couple months on comics that I really want to get a break from that and do something else. Like I'm just ready for a change. Raincoat, I think I'm better at traditional art because I do that a lot more, but also digitally I can use all the colors I want. That's another consideration. That's a good point that I didn't even think of. Both for Kai San, Raincoat, digital, and you're drawing on your phone with your finger. That's a skill set. I don't know how people do phone art, but if you can make it work, power to you. I think that's very impressive. What were we saying? Oh, right. We're looking at some of these attacks. So, like, that's just one example of, like, an unorthodox attack, but that was honestly very authentic to the character they were attacking. They weren't just farming points by making bracelets. They were being very, very authentic to the character that they were making these for. And I honestly respect that. I think that was so well done. So there's a lot of ways to express yourself in art fight that don't necessarily have to do with matching somebody else's style or skill. Who was it that wanted me to look up theirs? I think somebody said that they were talking about one that they had drawn for me in the past. I think I might have missed it. Where was it? The Lunar Garden, the one I did for you last year, was really fun to do. Let's go to Lunar Garden's page. Lunar Garden. Hey, there's mine says Annie made it. Oh no, where? Where? Oh, right here. Annie made it. Yeah, we were right on the page. So they did my Pokemon trainer last year. So that's another thing too. If you have an original character that is part of a fandom, you can add those to your profiles. So this one was my Pokemon trainer from Sword and Shield, and Annie Made It did an attack on my character, and she looks beautiful. I love the such smart use of pink in here because you were able to do pink on pink on pink and still keep each piece very high in contrast so that all the parts stand out and don't blend together. Like the pink sweater is like a really soft pink. The hair is a very vibrant pink. This background is a very pastel-y pink. So good. Mine embarrasses me. I knew nothing of anatomy. That's okay. We all start somewhere. I'm still learning. I will forever be learning. That's kind of like the thing about art. We're forever learning. I drew with my finger too, says Annie Made It. That's insane. I think that anybody who can do digital finger painting has got like a special skill. That's a special skill set. I actually started, like, this is really a throwback. I started finger painting on, man, when I very first started digital, I was deployed in the military. I was on a ship deployed, and I had an iPad with me. I think it was an iPad. I'm going to show you something. Okay, you want to talk about like growth and learning. Like this is me now, okay? And now let's go to where I started. I'm going to show you guys this. I finger painted this on an iPad because I didn't have a stylist, so I was just finger painting on an iPad, which still isn't as small as a phone. You guys blow me away with your phone drawings. But I was on deployment making a zombie comic, because of course I was, about the Navy. So I have like these Navy chiefs and it's zombie chiefs, and they're attacking all the like other sailors. And look how bad this is. It's so terrible. But I was trying so hard to finger paint this on a ship. I got better, but I mean, it wasn't great at first. Like this was the first page. Not very good, but it was fun. And here I have like, look at my tables. Look at these tables. Just watched you on DA. Yeah, I still have a DeviantArt. At one point I hid all my images on DeviantArt, but then I like unhid some of them and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about, like, if you want to copy my bad art, my old bad art, like, that's on you. If you want to adopt my mistakes, that's your fault, AI. Like, learn from my mistakes, or learn to do my mistakes when I already learned how to stop doing them. That's fine. Yeah, like, so like, we're just gonna flesh through some of these, but all of this was done finger painting on an iPad, because it's like the only thing I had with me to make art while I was deployed. And so I ended up making this comic, because of course I did. I just love making comics. This was the P-ways. Like, you would run through the ship on these P-ways. You would have like these ladder wells. You would go up from every level of the ship on these ladder wells. This brings back so many memories. This was literally my ship. I modeled this after my ship that I was stationed on when I was in the military. So this is the LHD-7 in the US Navy. That was my ship. And I used it. So like, some things are like hyper detailed, like this door, because I was like studying how to draw the doors, because I was literally sitting in front of a door looking at how to draw it. And then some things are really basic and extra poorly drawn. So that just goes to show how inconsistent I was back in my early art. Everyone starts somewhere. Exactly. And that's the point of me showing you this. Everybody starts somewhere. I do still think that my logo was pretty cool, though. I do like this. We heard monkey. It looks like a meme face. I wouldn't be surprised if I was referencing meme faces, because there's a lot. Like, I literally went down to the, like, there's a watch station on a ship where there's like this PA system. It's called a 1MC, and like this is the speaker and this is the thing, and there's the little radio thing. You click in the button to talk on the radio, this 1MC radio, to talk to the whole ship. And I literally went down there when I wasn't on shift. I wasn't there to do a shift. I was just there in my free time so that I could stare at this thing and draw it correctly. The medical bay doors, they had a double door. I went and stared at that door on the ramp so I could draw that correctly. And then I really wanted to do this aerial view. So I did the people, I had no reference for this. I just winged it. These people running, carrying a stretcher. So yeah, I mean, I was trying so hard. Some things are really good because I was staring right at it when I drew it. And some things are really bad because I had no reference and I had no idea what I was doing. And that's how you end up with like a kitchen that looks like this, like absolutely horrendous. We hired Dragon said, I just went inside with my eyes. I used to draw them normal. Then my head was like, how big should I make the eyes? Yes. That logo is tattoo material, says Rain. Thank you. Like I said, I'm still quite proud of it. I am actually really happy with this. Like the one thing I got right, you know? I like you used your own experiences to animate it. Yeah, they do say, like, draw what you know, right? Or write what you know. I think that's what it is. They say write what you know for writers. Lean on your personal experience to help create something tangible. And that's kind of what I was doing early on when I was making my Zombie Chiefs comic. And this was, like, my cover. I actually drew this in pencil, and then I colored it on my iPad. Okay, Son, sorry, I gotta step out. I'll catch the rest later. Thanks, everyone. That was fun. Bye. So good to see you. I'm glad you were able to make it here. I appreciate everybody that came here for the art fight conversation. We are going to ramp up all of our art fight content moving forward because it is that time of the year and we want to make sure that we make the most of it. I do want to say, after showing you guys my zombie comic, that I do have one of these characters on my art fight profile. So if you're interested in paying homage to that early PerryPictures art growth, my starting point, my origin story, you can on Artfight pay some homage to my origin story by drawing my character Bianca. She is a zombie slayer. This is what her avatar looks like now. So if you're looking through my available characters on my profile, this is what you're looking for. She's obviously changed a lot from here, day one, to here, which is her now. Or at least her as of, what year was this? 2019. My gosh, it has been so long since I updated, but I'm still satisfied with this one, so I'm not in a hurry to update this character reference. But yeah, there you have it. We have ourselves some lore, some backstory, some art fight. My proportions were so bad, and that mainly because I started learning by a person that had wild proportions as animated. Yeah, reference, when and where you can, reference real life. It's always better to reference reality over a drawing. But then if you're going to reference drawing, try to pull from multiple sources. Always try to pull from multiple sources. Try to get it from different angles, or don't just recreate somebody else's drawing. Always try to combine references to create something new for yourself. And that's also the best way to get exactly what you picture in your head instead of just settling for what you could find to reference. We hear Mike says, I draw and I know. Apparently floppy drives don't look like anime characters. Who knew? Okay, so We Hire Monkeys, my anatomy now is wrong, and the strangest part is it's entirely intentional. It's okay to break the rules once you learn the rules, right? Or bend the rules once you learn the rules. Like, once you've learned the basics, you can then be, like, exaggerate. Like, part of the core principles of animation is exaggeration, right? And the same thing goes for, like, even illustration. Like, if you're doing a storybook, you can also use the principles of animation in still image form in a lot of ways. And exaggeration is one of them. And it's one of the core principles of design, actually, exaggeration. And that is specifically applied to proportions a lot of the time. If you know when, where, and why to exaggerate. So Big Little Small is an example. I'll use Video, the gargoyle here, because I did a stream on her last year talking about redoing this character's design last year when we were talking about character design. And so just so you know, here's the original design, okay? And here was the result after I redesigned her. And the reason being, like, she was supposed to be a gargoyle necromancer, and the only thing really here that gave gargoyle vibes was the gray flesh, maybe the feet. We've got this claw-footed feet, and the wings, right? The face, sure, maybe, I don't know. Like, we've got the spiky forehead, the heavy brow bone, but it's not super apparent in this drawing because my illustration is not very strong. It gets a little stronger here. You can see the spiky brow bone in this picture a little better just because of the way that I've oriented the drawing. The claw-footed feet are more distinct. The wings are the same. It's literally the same wings. I just copy-pasted them over and filtered them. But once we start breaking down the character design into, like, actual principles of design, this is how she changed. And you can see here I'm exercising the principles of big, medium, small. We've got small wings compared to her big body. Why? Because I'm trying to create character. Here she's got really big ears, right? And the reason being because I'm really trying to emphasize the gargoyle in her design. And so I kept this heavy brow bone. That didn't change. But I wanted to really bring out the ears in a way that was very distinct for her characterization, her gargoyle characterization, which is also why she's got more of this kind of like little pig nose and the large bottom teeth, because that is very classic for gargoyle. They gurgle water through their mouths a lot of the times. That's part of the design feature because they're spouts, right? They're designed to be water spouts to keep water off of, like, water collection off of roofs. Anyway, I don't want to get too far into the weeds here, but basically I brought this up as an example of the design principle of big, medium, small, exaggeration, knowing when to exaggerate, and we're seeing that in the facial features here, how I exaggerated them compared to how they used to be. Not super exaggerated. You could tell I was maybe trying in certain ways, like with the brows and the cheekbones. But here, when we push it a little further, we understand the principle a little better. We're able to create more character, better character with intentionality. Hiding the hands is something we all do a few times. Hands can be hard. Yeah, that's true. And we all have done it. It definitely is a very classic move for artists of all skill levels. Hands are difficult indeed sometimes. I do enjoy drawing hands now, but you called it. You called it. Look at this. Look at the hands behind the back. She is holding a scythe behind her back, so at least there's purpose. Here we've got her holding it forward. Look how gnarly these hands are. They're absolutely atrocious, but I have her holding these hands forward on this like parapet because I was trying to really go lean hard into the gargoyle thing. Yeah, but now they look weird, but at least I draw them. And that's how you'll get better. That's how you get better at drawing them. You're not going to get good at something without first letting yourself suck at it. You know, like, you got to let yourself be bad enough to practice. You got to let yourself practice. So you got to sit with the fact that you're not going to be good at something at first. But the only way to get better is to practice. And practicing means allowing the bad art to happen. You got to let it happen. You got to get it out of the way. You got to learn from it first. Artists keep trying to hide the toes. Hey, Poco Latte. Yeah, good to see you. Annie made it now. They still look weird, but at least I draw them. I read that part. Good. Defanatic, hello. So you guys remember earlier I showed you the Cowie squirrel with the nine tails, right? That was Defanatic's character. Sorry for my PC reset. I'm trying to install drivers. Understandable. We are all multitasking here. That's okay. I love it when you guys come to stream to multitask. It's a great time for us to work together and to have company while we do other things. Rain says, I learned something I cannot unsee. Mike Mignola, artist of Hellboy, puts heavy drop shadows on feet so often. I did not know that. Although the Hellboy art style in general is very high contrast, so that doesn't surprise me. There's a lot of shadow, a lot of heavy contrast shadow in Hellboy. Anyway, it says, I'm not trying to hide my toes, but I just don't draw them. That's fine. You don't need to. I also understand people not wanting to draw toes because of fetishes and wanting to just avoid the wrong crowd, and that's totally fine. Rain, they're just shadowy blobs. That's one way to do it. Hey, if it becomes a stylistic choice, lean into it if that's what you want to do and master it. Get good at it. Learn what works and doesn't work for what you're trying to achieve. All right, I think that pretty much wraps it up for me here today. I think we've done a great job covering Art Fight and how it could possibly exist as a free to play game for a global artist community, and what that means for us moving forward and how we can contribute and help keep it free for everyone. If you are in a position to support Art Fight financially with any donation from $2 to greater, any amount helps. And there are certain perks to reward you for that support. So again, if you want to revisit those perks, you can rewatch this stream, or you can go straight to the newsletter yourself and check that out. You can also just click on Support Art Fight, and the contribution rewards are literally listed out on the sidebar, so check those out. We didn't read through the Art Fight 2025 tiers. These are their goals. So this is the goals for reaching the right budget in order to keep Art Fight paid for and free for 2025, because every year the budget resets. Every year they got to pay that annual server fee. They got to pay the annual taxes. All of those things in the pie chart that's on the thumbnail of this video have to be paid every single year. So that's what this tier list is going to break down for us if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty of how your money is being used. Not just what benefits you get from it, which we did go over on stream, but you want to see how it's being used in the budget. You can go through these tier lists, okay? Divanatic says, and also, how do you like DigiDog's inflatable tutu pet? I have no idea what that is. Animated, I'm not trying to hide. I read that part. And then Rain said, be the best at shadowy blobs. Yes, you can. Si se puede. You can do it. You know, the Nike slogan, be the best at shadowy blobs. I believe in you. You can absolutely pull that off. Just got to put your mind to it and practice, practice, practice. That is everything, guys. We did it. We covered the budget. We talked about Art Fight 2025, and we are going to come back for more in future streams. So please do subscribe to this channel. We are going to cover Art Fight in great detail. Don't forget to check out the Art Fight Master playlist, which is pinned at the top of chat right now. And I will add it as a pinned comment once I have completely ended the stream. So that will be available to you there as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you again next time. Bye.